Okay, Mano Amigos. I am just about to sit down and do an interview with Wax Mannequin, an amazing guitar player. And a couple things that I find really interesting about him in particular is a lot of guitarists end up learning on an acoustic guitar or on a classical guitar and end up switching and moving to an electric guitar and adding effects and things like that. One reason why I really like Wax Mannequin is he is still playing on a classical or acoustic guitar, which is very neat. I've seen, I don't know, 5 to 10 shows of his in real life, probably more. He's been doing some online shows, things like that. I don't know. I'll ask him about these when I get in. And he's got a really, he's a solo performer. At least that's how I've seen him. But I've heard that he's played with some bands. And he has a very, very, very unique show. I'm going to talk about it. You might see, it might look like there's stuff all over here. There is. I'll mention that in the interview. I bought it like that. But anyways, we'll just wait until he joins our chat here, and we'll see how Wax Mannequin is doing.
Hello, Rob. Good, how are you? Right on. Nice to see you. Look, I'm already at my guitar and everything. I haven't taken out of its case in a couple of weeks, so thanks for asking this.
Yeah, this will be for like with all the COVID and stuff, we've got an online school.
Yeah,
And so some teachers have switched to online. So different teachers have had to fill in courses that they haven't done before. And
yeah.
guitar is a class I've never done, and I just got the idea like interviewing all these great guitarists would be an awesome introduction for these students. So
Well, I don't know I don't know why you're interviewing me then. Good.
Well, no, you're. I feel like from when I've seen you, there are a couple key things, especially that you're really good at. One of them being finger picking. I noticed there's a bunch of finger picking in a lot of your music, as well. Your performances are unbelievable. You've got. I'm going to get to these as separate topics coming up. Um, and what also is interesting to me is a lot of the other people who I've interviewed started on an acoustic or classical guitar, but have transitioned and now only play an electric guitar.
Hmm.
Where what I find interesting about your music and what you do is you're still playing a classical or an acoustic guitar, and it like each album sounds so interesting.
Oh,
So
thanks.
that's kind of where I'm going to go with this interview. I'm going to start off with what attracted you to music and kind of how you learned to play guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, I really learned through writing. My music was in my house growing up. My dad played jazz piano a lot, but it wasn't sort of expected that we learn music. So I started tinkering with the guitar at home when I was, around 12, 13 in high school. Started doing guitar, started taking some lessons, but really taught myself through writing songs uh, and just getting interested in almost, obsessed with rhythm patterns and things. I mean, some of my early influences were fingerstyle folk guitar players like Bruce Coburn or Don Ross and folks like that. But I took that fingerstyle approach and melded it with more progressive rock stuff, polyrhythmic things, and really became interested in the guitar fingerstyle playing as almost an experimental percussive instrument. So not percussion in the sense of like drums and bass, but just exploring the rhythm patterns that one could make with the strings. So that's kind of what got me interested in finger picking rather than more conventional concert guitar playing route.
Hmm.
So
Were there specific people that you were playing, like when you started learning?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned a couple, Don Ross and Bruce Coburn, and some Fleetwood Mac songs were pretty intricate and influential. And then trying to figure out Frank Zappa tunes on, on classical guitar, because that's all I had, a classical guitar, and I would listen to Frank Zappa songs and try to figure out some of what he was doing. Not that it's very easily to penetrate, sort of conceptually what he was doing. It was fun to figure out the rhythm, the alternate time arrangements, which was really intrigued me about a lot of that stuff. So doing poly, I would try to put 5 different time arrangements over each other, starting with just sort of a syncopation, just syncopation with just things like that. But then it kind of evolved into trying to merge a 3 and a 4 beat over top of one another. So it'd be like, wait, where the bass string, the low strings going 1, 2, 3, and the top strings are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I wrote a few songs like that. It became a bit of a strumming pattern for me. Kind of a go-to, even on something, an album I put out a few years ago. There's a song, Longest Hour. How does it go again? Woken early. So that's just sort of evolved from a 3/4 overlapping, and then I try to do things like put a 5 and a 4, or 5 and a 4 over top. How did that sound again? Was that 5? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm a little out of practice now, but I try to come up with elaborate fingerstyle range patterns based on those polyrhythms. And so
Wow.
it sounded a bit alien, but it captured my interest for a few years there until I started touring, and then I just wanted to rock.
But so with that, like you're talking all merging timings and stuff like that, did you have to take some music theory or to be able to do that? Or is it just like hearing it, you can tell those times?
Yeah, I figured it out. I mean, it's just through listening and figuring out what some prog bands were doing, and I mentioned Frank Zappa. He would do a lot of weird times in there, and so that kind of got me interested. I think really just playing some old, what was it, like old Simon and Garfunkel that had some syncopation in there. My guitar teacher taught me once. What song I can't remember, but I thought, what is that? Why does it sound so hypnotic in there? And he's like, oh, that's syncopating. And then I thought, what's syncopate? Oh, that's kind of like 2 rhythms overlapping. And I just kind of pushed that as far as I could for a few years, taking different time signatures and putting them over top of each other. I don't know if I could still play in 7/4, but that's one of the ones I would go to as well. But just a different composing with different time arrangements, just to keep the listener on their toes, really was compelling for many years there for me, and it's still in there. I often go to a 7 or a 5 just as a transitional thing. It's far less heavy-handed now. I'm much more interested in writing a song that connects, and less interested in writing a song that just confuses and bewilders. So I kind of try to cross both, do both at the same time. But
Cool. So you're talking a little bit about composition and what you're putting together for a composition. Like I feel like each of your releases some of them, for example, No Safe Home had, I don't know if it was like a very folky sound, but some of your earlier stuff had a lot more. Maybe like I'm thinking the first time I heard Wax Mannequin was on Paper Snake, and I
Hmm.
feel like there's a bunch of synths in there. Um, when you go to compose, are you mainly composing on the guitar and thinking about times, and where does the theme of that album or composition come from?
Yeah, I think it's the melody and the words that usually drive it these days. When I write, it's usually words that come to me in a little melody that gets stuck in my head, and then I try to play it on guitar. I think in the early days, though, it would be the what I was showing you, the guitar patterns that would spark the song, and then I would try to put words over top of that, lyrics and melody over top of it, and it kind of flipped after a while. The words, the melody became the driving force, and that the other nuts and bolts that I'd practiced over the years uh, became the backing, the supplement to it.
Cool. Um, Also on your albums, and one of the clips that I want to also send my students to see because I love this performance is your performance on it's a Southern Souls video. I
Okay.
think the song is I think it's Beware that you played for
Oh,
that.
yep.
And a lot like I've never seen you perform live with a band. Every time I've seen you probably 5 to 10 times and it's been solo, but
Really?
I know that you have performed with a band or at least recorded with a band.
Yep.
Uh, is there like a group of people or do you have musicians for hire that you bring in to help with the recording of the songs or like that video?
It rotates. It has rotated a lot over the years, just based on what friends I was were nearby and interested in playing a lot. But having a solo practice is what is given me longevity, not in the sense of relevance, but just in the sense of not giving up. I just being able to get out and play my music, and that's as a fairly disorganized person, I like to keep it as simple as possible, light enough to travel, I guess you could say. But I always have ambitions in terms of the composition, and when I write the songs, I often hear them performed with a band, or imagine them produced with a band in many layers and whatnot. So I've landed lately when before COVID hit, I was playing with my friends Mark Raymond on the drums and Evelyn Charlotte Joe, two really good friends of mine who are the most creative, gifted musicians I know. And I work with others too in different settings or in different parts of the country. I have friends that I work with in different places. So yeah, I mean, I've always intended it to be band music, but out of necessity and just sheer logistics, it's been solo and will often be solo.
So when you get together to suppose you're recording, say some of your new stuff, and you get together with these people, is it like is there practice time before you get to recording, or are they of a theory musically where you can kind of give them a sheet music and they look at it and say, "Oh yeah, I know exactly that," and can look around with the sheet music?
Yeah, not so much sheet music, but they are just we speak the same musical language and can usually come up with stuff we all agree on really quickly. It's really important to me to work with, I always, when I write a song, I have certain set pieces that I know have to be in there, whether it's a particular bass line or keyboard part or rhythmic thing. Um, and that I'll bring that into the rehearsal and say, okay, this part's like this, you have to play this bass line here. But then the most of the song is, uh, you know, the people I work with have free reign, and we just like we'll try things until they just work because usually their ideas are better than mine. If I haven't, if it's not something specific that I want, I don't, I don't feel like I have to, you know, be a dictator in that sense. And I think that's come up with a lot. There's so much of the magic. I really, the magic that happens on a few of my records, like my Saxon record, I really like what's going on there between Mark Raymond on the bass, who now plays drums actually for me, Mark, but he plays the bass on that record, and Aidan Campbell plays the drums, and both of those guys really overplay, constantly. But on that record, we managed to find it just got so lockstep, I think, that when you listen to it, it doesn't sound. I at least I don't think it sounds like people are overplaying. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of nuance, a lot of complicated stuff going on in there, but it doesn't get jangly, I think, on the listener. So to me, that's the balance I try to go for, merging sort of experimental stuff and pop stuff. And these guys are good for that. And Evelyn Charlotte Joe is all that in a bag of chips in terms of their bass playing. They play all the instruments first of all, but Ev plays bass for me, so it's always a treat. Just how in the pocket and tight they can get, and how fancy and mind expanding they can be when they want to.
So when you're doing that recording with these guys, and for example, I feel like No Safe Home has got like a perfect a mood to the whole album. And different albums, I don't know if it's because of how you're recording and it has that feel, or is it like an intended, I want it to all have a similar sound and this is what we're going for on this album? Or is it because, well, you've got this instrument this year and let's try this and we'll put these together, or maybe a combination of both of those two things?
No, that's exactly. It's a combination of both. I go in with something in mind, but then something will happen and we'll make the album anyways, and that's how it sounds. So I think that's true of probably anyone making an album, at least, unless they're spending tens of thousands of dollars and have you know, every variable kind of quantified in advance. You're going to be have to enjoy the serendipity of a moment, whether it's a weird sort of resonance in the mic placement, or just a truck rolling by, or an airplane or siren or something that rolled by in a perfect take, and you like have to keep it anyways, or in the middle of recording an album and then COVID hits, so you have to finish the album recording your parts on different parts of the country, which is what every recording musician can relate to now. But it's certainly I don't know if that even remotely answers your question, but
Yeah.
it's there's a certain amount of rolling with the punches, or finding finding the beauty in whatever you end up capturing. And I do have a philosophy of like letting things go eventually, because a lot of producers or musicians don't release music because they just keep working on the mix and with the playing and collecting the right gear, and and it's hard, and I can definitely appreciate that urge to, like, I don't want to release it until it's right, until it's perfect, and I do that too. But at a certain point, you have to say screw it, and let it stand, blemishes and all. And sometimes those blemishes are what make it worth coming back to listen to again.
Mm-hmm. So that's how you're recording now, like over space, like some people are in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
Because I've watched a couple of your online shows that you used to do on Facebook, and always in the back of my head is I've got this lyric that about leaving your guitar in Thunder Bay and going back for it, and I'm thinking, I can't wait till that song is released. So do you have any idea when you think that you'll be done this album, or is it a long ways away?
There's a couple of albums I'm working on, and that is right now. a friend of mine, James Chappell, produced a version of that song that we're looking forward to releasing. I don't know exactly when, but as soon as the time is right. Um, so within the year, I'm hesitant to put too much out if I can't tour it. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
do. Um, I feel weird about that, and I don't know why. I certainly love it when my friends are putting out albums at this time, but myself, it's like uh, the touring has been, for and maybe this is part of what is the touring is so essential to me. Like the experience of getting out and doing shows uh, is um, is everything to me. The writing songs is fun, but I don't know. It's COVID's had a particular impact on my music that I'm looking forward to COVID being done. And I really have to kind of commit to doing those weekly shows again because that kind of held me together a lot. And I'm happy. I'm doing fine. I feel like in good spirits. But in terms of keeping that fire under me, it's all about the knowing that I'm going to get out to play. My music is what keeps me pushing. But
I'm not going to give away too many of your tricks here for your live performances. You were just saying how you're looking forward to getting back and doing that. But the one, I'm going to link my students to the Southern Souls video.
mhm.
And in that one, that's one of the ones where that like a lot of times students have got performance anxiety and they might be sitting on a good song, but they're just too afraid to perform it for people.
Mhm.
And you seem like the opposite. Like you want to get out there, you want to perform, and even go as far as things like, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, in that Southern Souls video is the one where you've got the candle on your head.
Mhm.
And where did that idea come from, to be performing with the candle on your head with the wax dripping down your face and trying to navigate vocals and a guitar while being burnt?
Yeah, some of those things I do or have done are I partly justify them as a bit of a performance art thing, but it's also gets back to what you said about performance anxiety. I find having a prop or a bit of a foil or a bit of a I could say a character, but it's almost like a focus object, you know, helps me be a bit more present in the moment. It's kind of ridiculous to think of that when I have a candle on my head that it somehow makes me more in the moment. But it it's not something I've done for a while. But while I was doing that, it it's one way my psyche tried to grapple with the idea of putting myself out there and performing. And over the years, I've often had you know, I don't know, different eras or personas or modes of presentation that I would put between me and the audience as part of as a bit of a chorus or a bit of a you know it both invites the audience in, but it also kind of alienates me a bit from the audience, and sometimes that's what I need to 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 feel like I'm in the right space to present my music.
Was there any times that something went wrong with the wax, like it was burning and but you had to push through, or
Yeah, sometimes it was hot. That was part of the fun, though. I didn't burn any place down. Luckily, once in where I was in Austria was the closest I came to burning the place down. I think there was some plastic or paper flowers on the stage behind me, and they caught. When did I do? When I threw at a certain point, I throw the candle off, and I guess I did that, and it was still lit, and actually caught some of these flowers on fire. And then the audience just pointed out to me quite frantically, and I extinguished it. Um, and uh, and so I don't do that anymore. But luckily, I wasn't banned from anywhere, as far as I know, for doing that, and no harm done. So I don't know how that
yeah,
would go
no,
these days.
yeah, I was so I think I saw you do that first at Maxwell's Music House in
Oh yeah,
Waterloo,
sure.
when it was at its other location. And when you were moving, I at first thought that it was a fake candle because I thought it would have been way too hot to do that. But then after I saw the wax going all over, and I had to go. I think this is a 7 inch or a 10 inch. I don't know. I
Oh, there
had to
you
go
go.
and get your 7 inch there because this one was on the top, and it had wax all over the top of it, and so I wanted to remember that
Cool.
and the thing, and it's kind of hard to see because it's red and it was a red candle, but yeah, there's wax kind of melted all on the top of the cover of that album as well,
Those are good
which I thought
times.
was
We recorded that. So as an album was came out of a tour that I did with the Burning Hell. Here's really Burning Hell is Matthias Kalm and Ariel Sharat and others. They live out eastward in Canada, and we did a tour out west and back with our friend Vish on drums, and the two bands, three guys. So we just rotate the lineup, and then when we were out on Victoria or on Vancouver Island, Cumberland, recorded that little 7 inch with my friend Corwin Fox, who lives out there, who's a great musician too. He's producing my one of my current records. So that's the COVID record I was talking about, where it's like half finished and we have to record from afar. But yeah, those were good times.
yeah.
Remembering that recording.
Do you have a specific song of yours, or maybe one that you cover that you really enjoy playing live that you feel uh, is that helps with that connection between you and the audience?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, different songs at different times, but I like songs that let people call back a little bit. Well, I don't know if I'm going to play that song. Would you like me to play a song? Is that what you're implying? Or, I mean,
I
I think someone fixed the game for me. There's a bit of that, a bit of an immediate connection I get with the audience. There's also boring, where there's kind of a call and answer, uh, where the audience sort of sings along with it. I think that's important, engaging the crowd before I get too oblique with my lyrics and impenetrable. But
oh, okay. Are you, do you want to play Someone Fix the Game?
would you like me to?
Yes, that would
I'm
be
not sure
awesome.
how it holds up now. I mean, times have changed so much. It's kind of a song of an era. You know, maybe it's more timely than ever. I don't know. I haven't played this since for a while, so see if I remember. Going 140 on the 401 when the cop lights flashed me down outside of Kingston. The officer said, "Son, I'm just like you. Try to ease up and pass on through. I'm shifty in the customs line. My suitcase is full of shitty Dutch wine. She hears the bottles rattle and clink and weighs me right through with a knowing wink. Oh, my shopping cart won't fit anymore. Thoughtlessly, I'll walk right through the door. The clerk says, "You don't look like a thief. I will let it slide. You can pay me next week." Oh, someone fixed the game for me. Someone fixed the game for me. I'm not on top, but I can see that somebody fixed it for me. Oh, I'm sick and scared of living downtown with that disenfranchised, volatile crowd. The bank man said he would sell us a loan for a no money down suburban home. What could go wrong? When the cop, the nurse, the fire brigade, I break down, they all run to my aid. It don't matter just how deep I get stuck. Someone arrives to dig me up, 'cause someone fixed the game for me. Someone fixed the game for me. I've scrambled high enough to see that somebody fixed it for me. Ooh, and other blokes get tossed in the clink. I snake by to frolic and drink. Some say that's 'cause I'm clever or nice. but that's just code for privileged and white. So if you're of the less fortunate ilk, man up and oppress somebody else. And oppress somebody else. And in a generation or two, someone will fix the game for you, like someone fixed the game for me. Someone fixed the game for me. That sun is sure hot, but I'm sailing free. Somebody fixed it for me. What a flood! A storm has come. There's a flood rushing in. It's up to my neck, and it's through to my skin. Keep your head down, everything's fine. Don't worry about yours, I got what's mine. You see the auctioneer, he's manning the raft. He's calling out the oars and the mast. If I can bid the other guy down, I will sail home, the rest can drown. Someone fixed the game for me. Someone fixed the game for me. That sun is sure hot, but I'm sailing free. Somebody fixed it, I see. Oh, someone fixed the game for me. Someone fixed the game for me. Not a drop to drink, no land to see. Can't somebody fix this for me? Can't somebody fix this for me? Can't somebody fix this for me?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I love that song. And I contacted you earlier about that one specifically. I use in for my social justice unit. And I was trying to get the lyrics from you so I could put them up on there for social justice. I think it's a perfect time. Any time is a good time to promote social justice. So amazing track right there. And another one off.
Come, so I guess it's, that works. Wait, did I send you the lyrics? Did I respond to that?
You did. Yeah.
Good. I got it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another one of my favorites off that album, I don't know why, maybe just because I play basketball, is Basketball.
Oh yeah.
Nice and repetitive. I like that one.
It's a bang.
I can sing along.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those palate cleansers. I don't know. Yeah, that one. My friend Mark did a video for. We went out to the basketball court. I guess we approached it like it was a skate video, like we were skateboarding. But I was like a guy
Hilarious.
who didn't know how to play basketball, so I was treating the basketball like a skateboard and trying to do tricks with it. And and then it all goes downhill from there. But it was fun to make. My friend Mark did that.
Yeah, that is a fantastic video. All parts of it, even pulling the guitar out of, I don't want to give away too much of it, but pulling the guitar out of the basketball. I guess you got to go and see the video in order to know what we're talking about there. But
it's a certain aesthetic. It's an acquired taste, I guess.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So is there, to kind of sum up, is there a key thing that you think a guitarist should work on in order to get better if they want to become kind of a touring musician, something that they should focus on?
Yeah, I just chased what interested me the most. So and that's pretty specific for my brain. I just got really interested in rhythm and fingerstyle composition, and then eventually just got interested in melodies and words that communicate. So I guess, I mean, it's been a process of for me over the years finding a way to communicate what I wanted to say to as many people as possible. So communication is key. It can be done in any way. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to use a conventional style or a path that's already been trodden. You can whatever passion or whatever interest you have, if you can find a way to communicate it to the audience in an authentic way, people respond to it. It's not about it. It's not a show. It's a form of communication. Communicate before showmanship, I guess.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this Teams virtual interview. This has been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for asking me to do this, and all the best of luck with your class. And hopefully we meet up at a live show some point in the future in the real world to make music together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. Thank you very much.
Good to see you, Rob.
All right. Good to see you too. See you later.